The moment Clarice and her son, Elijah, stepped into the room, no one offered them a glance, much less a welcome. Before the lawyer could utter a word, her sister Melanie's voice sliced through the air. She will get nothing. Dad hated her. No greeting. No eye contact. Just that sharp declaration, loud enough to ring in everyone's ears. Like she wanted the words to brand Clarice in front of the entire room. Clarice flinched. The sentence hit like a physical blow. Her fingers tightened around Elijah's small hand. His tiny, warm fingers curled back around hers, shaking slightly. She forced a smile down at him, thin, uncertain. But Elijah knew. He always knew. They hadn't even taken a seat yet. The message was clear. Clarice wasn't welcome. She wasn't family. She was a stray thread they were eager to snip away. Melanie sat at the head of the long conference table, calm and collected in a fitted slate gray suit. Her hair was pulled into the high, polished bun she favored when she wanted to look in control. Her lipstick? Sharp crimson. That was Melanie, dressed for a fight Clarice hadn't even realized she had walked into. Then came the voice Clarice dreaded more. Her uncle Leonard, her father's elder brother, chuckled dryly. He reclined in his chair, hands behind his head, a smug grin spreading across his face. Even her kid knows she's worthless, he muttered, gesturing toward Elijah, as if he were invisible. Elijah dropped his eyes to the floor. Clarice's heart cracked deeper. Around the table, a few heads bobbed in subtle agreement. Cousins, old neighbors, distant family friends, people she hadn't seen in nearly a decade. They'd long ago picked their side, and she was not on it. Clarice guided Elijah to the seat farthest from the group, at the end of the mahogany table. The chair creaked as she sat. Elijah climbed beside her, his feet swinging off the floor, hands folded neatly in his lap, like he wanted to disappear. Melanie turned toward her with the slow grace of a predator, her smile dripping with practiced pity. "You know this is pointless, right?" she said, her voice smooth, calculated. "Dad rewrote the will. You were cut out. Said you were dead to him." Clarice didn't reply. Her tongue felt too thick, her voice buried under years of silence. She just nodded faintly, as if she understood. But inside, the thought flickered. Maybe he left something. A line, a note, a sign he remembered her. Instead, here she was, in a room she swore she'd never return to, surrounded by people who had mourned her long before her father passed. She was about to stand and leave when the door creaked open. Mr. Callahan, her father's attorney, walked in clutching a thick folder. Crisp suit, tired eyes, expression unreadable. He hadn't changed a bit. The room hushed. Everyone sat straighter. Clarice braced for the humiliation. She had come expecting nothing. She believed she'd leave with less. But what no one knew, not Melanie, not Leonard, not even her, was that Elijah had brought something. And with one sentence, he would unravel the narrative they had built. "You forgot the video," Elijah said. It had been 8 years since Clarice had been in a room like this. 8 years since she packed up a life she was told she didn't deserve and left with her son, just 2 at the time. Not because she wanted to, because she had to. Every conversation with her father, Carl, ended in screaming or stone-cold silence. Every family gathering felt like walking across broken glass while pretending it was a parade. But now she was back. Back in a room that still smelled of cigar smoke, pride, and unspoken judgments. She hadn't even known she was invited. The envelope came 3 days after the funeral. No message, just a time and address, penned in Mr. Callahan's stiff handwriting. For a moment, she thought it was a mistake. Maybe they meant to send it to her brother Kurt. Or maybe it was a final jab. But Elijah had wanted to go. "We should go, Mom," he said, eyes wide and solemn. "Maybe there's something you need to hear." How a 10-year-old could carry that kind of certainty, she didn't know. But he did. He always did. So they came. She wore the same black dress she hadn't touched since her mother's funeral. He wore a button-up shirt he chose himself. She braided his hair that morning with trembling hands. And he told her she looked beautiful. He didn't know she had barely slept, that she was terrified to be seen by people who had erased her. They had always painted her as the daughter who ran, who couldn't take the heat, who abandoned the family. They never asked why. They didn't know that after she left her abusive marriage, Carl shut the door at her face. That when she showed up on his porch with Elijah and a suitcase, he said nothing. Leonard had echoed Carl's judgment. Family doesn't quit. And Melanie? She turned that narrative into her battle hymn. So Clarice stopped trying. She built a life for her and Elijah. Quiet, modest, filled with peace. That had to be enough. Still, some part of her hoped, deep fragile, that Carl had left a sign. That maybe, just maybe, he regretted something. Now she felt foolish. Elijah hadn't said a word since they arrived. Just sat quietly, watching, studying. Mr. Callahan cleared his throat. The folder opened. He began reading the will. Clarice leaned back, whispering to herself, "Just get through this. Don't let them see you break." The words blurred. To Melanie, the main residence and its contents. To Leonard, the lake house and company shares. To Cousin Brian, the classic cars. Nothing for Clarice. Then the line she had feared. As previously stated, my daughter Clarice will not receive a portion of this estate. Final. Brutal. Elijah reached for her hand under the table. Around them, soft scoffs and whispers. Melanie smirked. Leonard shook his head. Clarice stared at the wood grain, willing herself not to cry. Then Elijah moved. He sat up straighter. You forgot the video he recorded. The room stopped. Melanie blinked. Leonard leaned forward. Mr. Callahan froze. Clarice turned to her son. What video? But Elijah wasn't looking at her. He was looking at the lawyer. He pulled a small envelope from his backpack. Her name on the front. Beneath it, for the lawyer only. If it gets ugly. Jason held it out. Calm. Certain. Clarice blinked. Where did you get that? Grandpa gave it to me. He said to keep it safe. Her mind reeled. Mr. Callahan took the envelope. Opened it. Inside was a USB and a note in Carl's handwriting. His face changed subtly as he read. Everyone, he said, this is a video message from Carl Harding, timestamped before the final will. He instructed it be played only if there was discord. He glanced at Melanie and Leonard. They shifted in their seats. He plugged the USB. The screen lit up. Carl appeared. Older. Thinner. Wearing the navy sweater she had once gifted him. He looked into the camera. Hi, Clarice, he began. Her breath caught. If you're watching this, I'm gone. And I suspect things got ugly. He looked down. Fidgeted. Swallowed. I said things I shouldn't have. I believed what others told me. I didn't ask questions. I didn't listen. Not once. Clarice couldn't look away. You came to me with your son, and I closed the door. I thought strength was pride. But it's not. Strength is protecting your child. And you did that. Well, I couldn't. Carl took a shaky breath. I met Elijah one day. He said, my mom is the safest place in the world. Her hand flew to her mouth. I lost you, Clarice, because I couldn't stop being right long enough to love you right. But I won't push you away again. He looked directly into the lens. I changed the will. The house, savings, and a college trust for Elijah. It's yours. You earned it. A collective gasp filled the room. Let them be angry, he added. You lived through it all and stayed a mother. I'm proud of you. I love you. Always did. Just didn't show it. Take care of my grandson. Tell him thank you. The screen went black. Silence. Sacred. Final. Clarice didn't move. Couldn't. The tears rolled silently. Elijah slipped his hand into hers. Melanie rose abruptly, grabbed her bag, and stormed out. Leonard followed, face red, grumbling but silent. The room emptied, leaving only Clarice, Elijah, and Mr. Callahan. He smiled gently. There will be paperwork, but everything is in order. He left them alone. The quiet that remained wasn't the silence of exclusion. It was the stillness of peace. Clarice looked at her son, his hand still in hers. Thank you, she whispered. For what? He asked. For being braver than me. For believing in him. He smiled. I just wanted you to hear him. And she had. She walked out of that room, not broken. She walked out whole. And that silence finally meant belonging.